You see, things don't get much easier for the Cowboys. They host the Packers this weekend. So what do you think needs to change for them on offense after their poor showing in New Orleans?
Well, you get back to the basics. You don't overreact to what happened. Also, you realize that these guys are professionals. They're paid a lot of money to be able to stop your offense. And after going back looking at the game, I wonder how healthy Amari Cooper was, because he went and got an MRI during the week. Now, typically, you don't get an MRI unless there's really something serious going on with you, unless it's after a game. It wasn't after a game. It just happened to be midweek. They thought he needed an MRI. He got one. And in the game, you could see that he couldn't create separation. So if he's injured, I'm not going to overreact. I have to try to manipulate it to be able to get him off of press coverage, because he's going to get a lot of that this weekend in the Green Bay game. But it all starts with the running game. I want to try to protect that left side. Tyron Smith's not going to be in the lineup, which that running game is going to lead to play action pass. We got to take some shots down the field to be able to open up this defense, to be able to threaten them deep down the field. Now, since Michael Gallup, since he's been out, since week number 1, he got injured week number 2, their down-the-field passing game hadn't been as good. So that's something that I do want to look at, but I'm getting back to the basics. Zeke's going to carry the ball. He's going to carry it especially early and often to be able to get this offensive line back on track, playing at home, home crowd, going against a Green Bay defense that is 26th against the run and 18th in the red zone. So that's the way I'm going to attack it. I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to give the Saints some type of credit for being able to negate me, because the Saints did the same thing to the Cowboys last time they faced them.
Let's start with the running game, what you're talking about there. We saw Philadelphia somewhat salvage the first quarter of their season by running the ball down Green Bay's throat, by neutralizing what Green Bay had gone out in the offseason and acquired a pass rush. We saw Philadelphia have their most successful rushing day of the year in that critical game this past Thursday against Green Bay. Dallas must replicate that, because they're going to have a hard time throwing the football, because I agree with you. Amari Cooper, you know how you know he couldn't get separation? 2 offensive pass interference penalties on him in that game, pushing off to get that separation, because Dak Prescott was exceptional in week 1 and has been good, but not great since week 1, coincidentally, since Michael Gallup's been out. It's got to be Zeke. The Dallas Cowboys, since Dak and Zeke have been together, are 1-8. If Zeke does not get 75 yards rushing, the one win was week 1 of this season against a Giants team that when Zeke was on a pitch count, so it's a little bit different. In games, they expect Zeke to be able to be a full go. If he does not give you elite level production, they don't win. So, yes, it has to be Ezekiel Elliott in this game. They can worry about if all the accolades we were giving to Kellen Moore earlier in the season were a little premature later. They can worry about what new wrinkles this new offensive coordinator, the youngest in the league, needs to add a little bit later. What has to happen this weekend on Sunday afternoon is Zeke Elliott not only get the touches, but the production to go along with it, because, and those of us who are still a little skeptical of Dak, what we know is when Zeke doesn't play well, the Cowboys don't win. That's why they made him the league's first $100 million running back. He's got to play well this Sunday.
Is there some concern for the fact that Dak's play has leveled off a bit over the course of the season? Each game, I think you gave us the numbers yesterday, they have been on a steady decline, even though it's just a little bit. Is that him? Is that the play calling? Is that production from Zeke? Where do you place that?
No, one is the competition. The competition they're facing is going to cause your numbers. You're not going to be able to get the Dolphins every week. You're not going to be able to get the rebuilding Washington every single week. To me, his passing, his skill set, he's duplicating, reading the coverages. He's sudden with the football. He's spreading the ball around. He's not forcing the ball anywhere. He's not making young mistakes with the football. No, I mean, if we sit here and watch every player and watch their numbers every week, we're going to be on a roller coaster ride. All right? He's made drastic improvements throwing the ball. Yes, there's doubters on every quarterback that we have in the league, even Tom Brady. I wouldn't say Dak's performance in week number 4 against the Saints would cause me to be alarmed. Not about his play, not about Kellen Moore's play calling. That was a good defense they were facing. Last year, were we saying the same thing after they basically played the same type of game, all right? Early in the season, it's just so easy to overreact. And younger players, when we haven't seen it, we don't give them the credibility that we've given the veteran players. But Dak has made drastic improvements as far as the passing game. I think that is there to stay. But if Amari Cooper is injured and Michael Gallup is out, that's his number 1 and number 2 target. All right? I believe with both of those things being true, he's functioned fairly well in the last 2 weeks.
And we probably did overreact a bit to week 1. Week 1, he has a perfect passer rating. He has 4 touchdowns. He's got 400 yards passing.
That's the Miami game?
No. That's the New York Giants game.
Giants
They went Giants, Washington, Miami, and then this past week against Philadelphia. Week 1, he was exceptional. Since then, he's been good, not great. 98 rating, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. And you can see it right there, week 1 versus the rest of the season. Dak would take that second column, extrapolated over the course of the season. So it's not like he's been bad. He would take 98 passer rating, 7.5 yards per attempt, 70% completions the rest of the way, even if we just X out that first week. What he would not take, and where he has to get better, is in weeks 2, 3, and 4, third down. 14 of 23 on third down, a 65 passer rating on third down. Third downs is where Dak has struggled mightily after week 1, where he was exceptional in all phases of it. Part of that is down and distance situations. Part of that is more difficult third downs they're facing. Part of that's play calling and the injuries, all of it. But that's the area that week 1, he was perfect on third down. Weeks 2, 3, and 4, he struggled. And that's one of the reasons the offense in the first half, if we remember, first few drives in the game against Washington struggled. The entire first half against Miami struggled. And the entire game against Philadelphia struggled. They are going to need that offense to click against what I believe to be the best defense they've faced yet this year in Green Bay on Sunday.
And if I was nitpicking as far as Kellen Moore, that's where Dak needs some help. They could be a little more creative on third down. Third down is the hardest down to be able to throw the ball. Typically, they can anticipate you throwing it. That right there, I could see. As far as Jerry, you could see that he's a little bit young as far as that. So look for them to try to improve and be more creative on third down.
All right, so Cowboys face the Packers on Sunday. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.